When you picture war, you probably see soldiers in muddy trenches, the chaos of battlefields, and the heartbreak of families torn apart. The images that come to mind are often filled with loss, fear, and devastation. Ordinary people caught in extraordinary circumstances, struggling to survive as the world around them unravels. But for some, war is the sound of a cash register. For a select few, the thunder of artillery is drowned out by the clinking of coins and the rustle of banknotes. While most see only destruction, others see dollar signs. War is big business. During World War I, a U.S. steel company's profits jumped from $6 to $49 million in a single year. That's not just a lucky break. It's a windfall built on the back of conflict. Factories ran day and night, churning out weapons and ammunition, while their owners watched their fortunes multiply. This isn't a fluke, it's a pattern. Every conflict, a select group in expensive suits see their fortunes rise. War has always had its winners, and they're rarely the ones in uniform. Instead, they're the ones making deals in quiet rooms, far from the front lines. They're not on the front lines. They're in boardrooms, watching stock prices climb, making decisions that ripple across continents. For them, every escalation is a potential payday. For them, instability is opportunity. They sell the tools of destruction, and later the tools to clean up. Bombs, tanks, and guns during the war, construction contracts and rebuilding projects after. It's a cycle that never really ends. The sums are staggering. Billions, even trillions, flow into the military-industrial complex. Every year, defense budgets swell, and contracts are handed out like candy at a parade. The numbers are almost unimaginable, but for those cashing in, it's just another day at the office. These companies are so entwined with government that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. Executives become policymakers, and politicians become consultants, moving seamlessly between public service and private profit. They lobby politicians, fund think tanks, and run ads making new weapons sound essential. The message is clear. More spending means more security, even if the reality is far more complicated. While the public hears talk of patriotism and security, behind closed doors, it's all about profit margins. The language of sacrifice and duty masks a relentless pursuit of revenue. War becomes a commodity, packaged, marketed, and sold. Tanks and missiles are displayed like luxury cars, ready for export to the highest bidder no matter the consequences. And the average person? You're footing the bill for a party you weren't invited to. Your taxes fund the contracts, your labor pays for the machinery, and your future is mortgaged for someone else's gain. You pay for the fireworks, but only the sellers get the view. The celebrations happen in penthouses and private clubs, far from the noise and the smoke. It's the ultimate business model, profitable, relentless, and tragic. The cost is measured not just in dollars, but in lives lost and futures stolen. The cycle feeds itself, more conflict, more profit. Decade after decade, the pattern repeats, with new wars bringing new opportunities for those at the top. The military-industrial complex isn't just a warning, it's reality, and it's thriving. Its influence stretches across borders and generations, shaping policy and priorities in ways most never see. Welcome to the business of war. It's a world where profit and power march hand in hand, and the true cost is paid by those with the least to gain. Step 1 in war profiteering? It's simple. Create a marketplace where weapons are the hottest commodity. Imagine a global bazaar, but instead of spices or silk, the shelves are lined with missiles, tanks, and guns. This is the world of the arms dealers, a place where conflict is currency, and every handshake could mean the start of a new war. Sell the things that go boom. From bullets to bombs, the business is all about supplying the tools of destruction, and there's always a buyer somewhere. Companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon are global supermarkets for military hardware, offering everything from drones to advanced fighter jets. Their catalogs read like wish lists for generals and politicians. When conflict looms, their stock prices soar. Investors know that war means business, and business is booming. A news report about war is free advertising for their latest missile or jet. Every explosion on TV is a commercial. Every headline a sales pitch. Governments are their biggest customers, buying everything from bullets to billion-dollar fighter jets. Defense budgets swell, and the contracts just keep getting bigger. The sales pitch is always about security, about keeping people safe. But in reality, peace is bad for business. The industry thrives on tension and uncertainty. The global arms market is a tangled web. Today's ally can be tomorrow's enemy. Weapons change hands, alliances shift, and the cycle continues. As long as the check clears, where the weapons end up is a secondary concern. Accountability is rare, and profit is the only constant. These aren't small deals. A single contract can dwarf a small country's budget. The sums involved are staggering, and the stakes are even higher. The people risking their lives see little reward, while CEOs collect millions. The true cost of war is paid in blood, but the profits flow to boardrooms far from the front lines. In the war economy, the safest seats are the most profitable. For those at the top, war isn't a tragedy. It's a business opportunity, and business is always good. Modern armies need more than just weapons to function effectively. They require a steady supply of food, fuel, and robust infrastructure to support their operations. These essentials are as critical as the weapons themselves. Enter private contractors like KBR and Fluor, who have found a lucrative opportunity in war zones, transforming them into veritable gold mines. They capitalize on the chaos, providing essential services at a premium. These companies offer a wide range of services, from preparing and serving meals to managing laundry facilities, all while charging a premium for operating in such dangerous environments. A simple can of soda that costs $1 at home might be priced at $8 on a military base. This inflated cost is ultimately borne by taxpayers who fund these operations. The privatization of military support services has given rise to a new class of war profiteers, individuals and companies who depend on ongoing conflict to sustain their revenue streams. The longer the conflict persists, the more extended the contracts become, leading to ever-increasing profits for these companies. It's a cycle that incentivizes prolonged engagements. With minimal oversight, the system is rife with overbilling and waste on a massive scale. This lack of accountability allows for significant financial inefficiencies. Many contractors are former military personnel or government insiders, leveraging their connections and insider knowledge to secure lucrative deals and contracts. The revolving door between the Pentagon and the private sector blurs the line between public service and private gain, creating conflicts of interest that can influence decision-making. Decisions about war and peace are often influenced by those who stand to profit the most from its continuation, raising ethical concerns about the motivations behind military actions. It's a system designed to enrich a select few at the expense of the public, leaving taxpayers to foot the bill while a small group reaps substantial rewards. After the bombs fall, someone has to rebuild. And it's often the same companies from the warring nations. First, profit from destruction. Then, profit from reconstruction. Contracts for rebuilding power grids, roads, and hospitals run into the hundreds of billions. Companies like Bechtel cash in, funded by international aid or the defeated country's resources. It's sold as humanitarian aid, but it's a massive economic transaction. Oversight is weak, corruption is rampant, and projects often go unfinished or fall apart quickly. Much of the money meant for recovery lines the pockets of contractors and officials. The cycle breeds dependency and resentment. Locals watch foreign companies profit while their communities languish. Failed rebuilding can sow the seeds for future conflict, restarting the cycle. In this business, failure is just another opportunity for profit. All this profit comes from somewhere: your taxes. Every missile, every meal, every reconstruction project is paid for by citizens. War is astronomically expensive, draining public funds that could go to healthcare, education, or infrastructure. Every billion spent on weapons is a billion not spent on schools or hospitals. The choice is clear. Military spending means neglect elsewhere. Taxes rise, services are cut, and you pay more for essentials as war disrupts global supply chains. Inflation acts as a hidden tax, eroding your savings. Meanwhile, defense shareholders watch their wealth grow. War is a massive redistribution scheme. Money flows from the many to the few. The next time you hear calls for war, ask, who pays and who profits? The answer is almost always, you pay, they profit. Beyond the dollars, war's true cost is human. Every statistic hides a real person: a soldier lost, a child orphaned, a family displaced. Soldiers face death, injury, and lifelong psychological scars. Even those who return struggle with trauma, often without adequate support. Civilians endure constant fear, destroyed homes, and shattered communities. They pay the highest price, though they never asked for war. Their suffering is called collateral damage, a cold term for real pain. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature. The products that generate profit also generate tragedy. There's a direct line from boardroom to battlefield, from profit to pain. We ignore this line at our peril. The human cost is the most devastating price of all. War's damage goes deeper than the battlefield. It scars entire societies. Perpetual conflict shifts national priorities, breeding fear and eroding civil liberties. Surveillance rises, dissent is discouraged, and violence becomes normalized. Police forces become militarized, blurring the line between soldier and officer. The language of war seeps into daily life, framing social issues as enemies to be defeated. Resources and talent are diverted from solving real problems to building better weapons. War drains creativity, trust, and humanity from society. The companies profiting aren't just selling weapons. They're selling a worldview of endless conflict. It's a bleak vision, but for some, it's incredibly lucrative. None of this works without a great sales pitch. War must be sold to the public, and the propaganda machine is relentless. The narrative is simple. There's an enemy, they're evil, and only war can stop them. Politicians, media, and think tanks, often funded by defense companies, push this message. News coverage amplifies fear, while dissent is dismissed as unpatriotic. The costs are downplayed, the threat is exaggerated. By controlling the story, the architects of war manufacture consent before the first shot is fired. The war is sold long before it's declared. So who really wins in war? Not the soldiers, not the civilians, not the taxpayers. The winners are the executives and shareholders who turn chaos into cash. For them, war is the ultimate business opportunity, lucrative and insulated from risk. The losers are everyone else, those who lose lives, homes, loved ones, and public resources. The idea that war is a shared national sacrifice is a myth. The costs are socialized, the profits privatized. War is a brutal, effective system for transferring wealth from the many to the few. It preys on fear and twists patriotism into profit. Next time you hear the drums of war, ask, who benefits? The answer, the person who sold the drum.